For my July bullet journal theme, I decided to go with a classic ocean theme, but add a touch of whimsy and fantasy to it. I wanted to include typical elements like shells, ships, and ocean animals, but also include mythical elements like mermaids and their underwater treasures. Hi everyone, my name is Norvia, and welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, please be sure to hit the subscribe button so that you can see more bullet journal and reading journal content from me. Also, if you like this style of video, I would love if you could leave a comment down below and hit the like button. The first pages I'll start working on for my July setup will be my combined quote and cover page. First off, I'll peel one sheet off of my notebook pad and fold it in half to ensure that when it's glued down, it will be centered. To glue down big papers like this, first I go with my dots adhesive to cover a lot of area, and then I'll go in with my glue pen to make sure that all of the edges and corners are covered with glue. Once that paper is fully glued down, then I'll go in with my Artex paint pen to start doing the title for my cover spread. I decided to go with a big bold cursive font for this month. After that, I'll begin working on the decoration. All of the materials that I use in this video will be linked in the description down below, with just one major exception. After gluing down origami papers in the bottom left and top right corners of the page, you'll see I layer over top what looks to be map stickers. These actually aren't stickers that I bought anywhere, but instead is part of a cut up envelope from a Sticky subscription. When I got one of the past packs from Sticky, these drawings were on one of the envelopes. I liked them so much that I decided to cut them out of the envelope and save them for later. After placing those down, I'll continue to use other stickers to build up the theme. Finally, I'll use my normal handwriting to start writing down my quote. The quote I decided to go with for this month is, "Every wave is a reminder that life moves forward no matter what." As I've said in past videos, I always like to pick inspirational quotes that somewhat fit in with the month's theme. Next, I'll add just a few more stickers to fill in the blank space, and then we can move on to the next page. For this month, I decided to try a new calendar style that I've never used before. Instead of having all of the boxes connected, I decided to separate the boxes with 2 spaces in between each one. This makes it look as if each box is floating and makes the calendar take up more space on the page. After drawing out all of the different calendar boxes, I'll use the same lettering style as before to do a title on this page as well. After that, I'll begin decorating the page. In the bottom right corner, I decided to use a big die cut sticker to take up all of that empty space. Then around the edge of the calendar boxes, I'll start including more stickers to keep building up the theme. Then I'll color in the headers for each day of the week. I used 4 main markers for this setup. 3 of them were Crayola Super Tips, and 1 of them was Tombow number 569. Unfortunately, Crayola Super Tips don't come numbered, but I basically used 1 light blue, 1 medium blue, and 1 dark blue from my set. After that, I'll write in the days of the week and then write in the numbers in each calendar box. Flipping the page, I'll start working on my combined mood and habit trackers. I used this same combined tracker page in my February setup earlier this year and liked it, so I decided to use it again. Down the left side of the page are the numbers 1 through 31. After that, I'll draw a line down the middle of the page so that there's a defined section for my mood tracker and for my habit tracker. For my mood tracker, after each day, I'll reflect back and see if my day was mostly joyful, productive, average, sad, tired, or angry. Then, based on what I decide, I'll place a dot in the correct area. At the end of the month, I'll connect each dot with a line, so that way I'll be able to see how my mood trended throughout each day of the month. As for my habit tracker, I've left space for 6 habits to track. I haven't drawn in any specific habits yet, since I have to film and post these videos so far in advance that I don't know which habits I'd like to track as of right now. Once it gets closer to July, I'll pick specific habits and draw in images that relate to each one. After adding just a tiny bit of decoration, I'll move on to the next page over. This page is going to be used as my gratitude log, and its setup greatly mirrors the setup as the page before. The first thing I'll do for this page is add decoration at the top by layering paper and stickers together. Then I decided to do the title in the same font but using 2 different colors. Finally, just like the page before, I'll write the numbers 1 through 31 down the left side of the page. To make these pages look a little bit different from each other, I decided to highlight every second line. This has 2 different purposes. One, it looks nice for decoration right now, and also, when I'm filling in each line, it'll provide a little bit of differentiation and make sure that I stay on the right line. After completing those 2 pages, I'll move on to my meal tracker. This page is very similar to my calendar page in that I leave space for 31 different boxes. This leaves space for me to write what I ate for breakfast, lunch, dinner, and snacks each day. My calendar page is oriented in a vertical fashion, and this is more like a sideways calendar. Instead of each week taking up 1 row like the calendar setup, for this page, each week takes up 1 column. After drawing all of the lines, I'll begin working on the decoration. At this point in the setup, I don't want to introduce too many new items. Instead, I'll start reusing several elements from previous pages to make the theme cohesive throughout the entire setup. After writing in the title for this page, I'll start numbering each box with its corresponding number. That'll conclude all of my monthly pages, so now I'll begin working on my weekly spreads. For my first weekly setup, I decided to go with 4 vertical boxes on each page. I oriented these boxes in an L shape towards the outside of the pages. This leaves a lot of room in the middle of the page for decoration. I decided to go with 8 boxes because 7 of the boxes will be used for the days of the week, and the final 8th box will be used for me to write any notes or events that are happening each week. For the main decorative element of the spread, I wanted to use another big notebook sheet from Sticky right in the center of this page. Instead of like before, this time I decided to cut the notebook sheet in half first, and then glue each half to the page separately. To ensure that this was centered correctly, I decided to consult my grid spacing guide. Then once those 2 halves are laid down, I'll continue decorating like before by placing stickers over top and layering them on top of each other to ensure everything is connected. Instead of writing down the numbers for the days of the month like usual, I decided these numbered shell stickers were perfect to use instead. I placed these stickers either on the left or right side of the box, depending on which way looks best to me. Another decorating tip I have for you is don't be afraid to overlap into the functional space a little bit. This makes it look like the decoration is an intentional part of the page, and it doesn't intrude on the writing space too much. After placing those stickers, I'll color in each header and write down what day of the week each box represents. If you have a sharp eye, you'll notice that I make a mistake on this page, and I continue that mistake throughout most of the other weeklies. Towards the end of my video, I will notice this mistake and go back to correct it, but please leave a comment down below if you notice it before I fix it. Moving on to the second weekly, instead of using vertical boxes like the first setup, I decided to use horizontal boxes instead. Personally, I don't really have a preference between vertical or horizontal, so I don't mind switching it up between each week. This page also differs from the previous one because instead of having the decoration in the middle of the page, this time the decoration will be focused towards the outside of the pages instead. The first thing I'll do is use a marker to create a header for each box. After that, I have a good idea of how much planning space is needed so I can begin decorating. I like to keep the pages balanced by adding paper to the bottom left and top right portions of the pages. These papers are very dark and hold a lot of visual weight, so I like to balance them across from each other so that no side of the page looks too heavy. Then I'll continue to place stickers throughout the rest of the page to ensure there's no big blank spot. Next, I'll place down my shell stickers again. I make a small mistake here by adding in a number sticker to the note section when there shouldn't be one there. However, I do notice this as soon as I start writing the Sunday title and remove that sticker. Then I'll continue writing in my headers. Then, flipping the page again, we'll move on to my third weekly spread. This setup scatters planning space and decoration space equally throughout both pages. For this type of setup, basically I split each page in half vertically and then split each page into 4 sections horizontally. That divides each page individually into 8 sections, and with both pages that gives me 16 sections. 8 spaces will be used for planning space and 8 sections will be used for decoration. To differentiate the planning space from the decoration, I'll again use a second line highlight. After that, I'll begin decorating the remaining spaces with mini collages. Next, I'll begin placing the number stickers again. You'll see one of those stickers doesn't fit very well on the page, so I decided to cut the top portion of that off. Afterwards, I'll finish off the page by writing in the titles for each day of the week. For my 4th weekly, I decided to try something new. This is a weekly setup that I've never tried before, but as it turns out, I really like it. Instead of using a vertical or horizontal orientation, I decided to use a spiral one instead. The main decoration for this page is in the very center, and the days of the week are oriented towards the outside in a circle around the decoration. To start, I used some scraps of my origami paper and glued them down in the center. After using one more scrap of paper, I decide it's time to distinguish the planning space from the decoration space. I go in with the bullet end of my Tombow to draw lines to make 8 different boxes. Next, I'll start layering stickers on top of the papers to fill out the decoration a little bit more. Once I find a layout that I like, it's time to move on to adding the shell stickers. However, this is where I noticed the big mistake I've made throughout all of my weekly setups. Flipping backwards, I'll notice that I've placed my number stickers in the wrong boxes the entire time. July starts on a Tuesday, however, I like to start my weeklies on a Sunday. When I wasn't paying attention, I placed the number 1 sticker on my Sunday box and continued from there. Because of that, each number sticker is 2 days off from the box it's supposed to be. After having a little think about what to do, I decide to flip back to my first weekly and fix all the date stickers. Luckily, all of the dates are on stickers and are not written down on the page. If they were written down, I would have a much bigger problem on hand. Because they're stickers, I can just peel them up and then replace them where they need to go. Usually when I film my setups, I'm listening to music or an audiobook, so I definitely have that to blame for not paying full attention. After peeling off the stickers, I color in the rest of the header and then replace the stickers over top. Also, you'll now notice that Sunday and Monday on this page don't have a sticker. To fix this, I decided to use offcut drawings from the sticky envelope and make my own number stickers. I'll continue the process of peeling up and then replacing the stickers throughout the rest of my weeklies. Also, like I mentioned before, one of the stickers had to have the top portion cut off because it didn't fit the page correctly. Another really good tip I have for you is to keep every offcut of every sticker close to you until the very end of your setup, and then you can throw them away if you don't need them anymore. Because I kept the top portion of this sticker, I was able to replace them together and it looks like it was never cut off in the first place. Finally, moving back to my 4th weekly again, I'm now back on track with the numbers and can place them in the correct spots. Finally, I'll finish off this page by writing in the days of the week. Flipping the page, we'll move on to my last weekly setup for July. This month is a little bit unique in that it has 5 weekly setups instead of 4. I decided to include this weekly with July instead of August because of the number of days that fall into July. The majority of the days of the week fall into July instead of August, and so that's why I've decided to include it in this month. The layout of this final weekly is very similar to the first weekly I did this month. I have 4 square boxes on each page, each oriented into an L shape again. However, instead of the boxes being placed towards the outside of the page, on this one, they're placed towards the inside. This leaves space in the lower left-hand side and the upper right-hand side for decoration. Again, I'll color in each of the headers and then place shell stickers over top. Just like in the first weekly, the last 2 days of the week don't have shell stickers. I use more envelope offcuts to create my own stickers. Then after writing in the headers for each boxes, I'll begin decorating this final page. As we get ready for the final flip through, I want to thank you so much for watching until the end of this video. Like I said before, please let me know in the comments if you caught my mistake with the shell stickers before I did. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in my next video.